Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Pharmacy Tech Love. This is where you're learning everything that you need to know about how to be a pharmacy technician. Hello future pharmacy technicians, how are y'all doing today? I'm remaking this video simply because my best friend told me it was too long, and also because I feel that my last video of why pharmacy technicians quit was a little too long and the lighting was a little off, so I had to look up some YouTube videos on how to set up my lighting, so that's exactly what I did. Okay, let's get into the video so we won't be here long today. Okay, so I actually added an 8th reason why pharmacy technicians quit. So there's going to be 8 reasons. I'm going to just give a short little summary as to why, okay? All right, number 1 is because, like I told you before, the work environment. If you are not happy where you work, please talk with your boss and see what's going on, see what the problem is. It could be your coworkers. It could be the job is too demanding for you. It could be the hours. It could be the location. There could be numerous reasons as to why the work environment is not working out for you personally. So please speak up. Don't ever be that person that's quiet in the back of the classroom with nothing to say. Raise your hand and speak up for yourself. Okay. All right. Number 2, better pay. Of course, we all want to take care of our families. And if we don't have a family, we want to take care of ourselves so we can take vacations, eat, do the things that's necessary for ourselves. And especially now, since we have the coronavirus, you know, a lot of us, we're not getting a lot of hours. And some of us are not working at all. And I don't know if you guys have had the trouble of applying for unemployment, but that is a hassle within itself. Because right now you can't get through on the phone lines, and I mean you can possibly apply online, but for me, me trying to apply for unemployment, which I'm still working, but my hours have gotten cut, but I'm still working, thank God for that. But my hours have gotten cut, so I want to apply for those extra hours, but I'm having trouble trying to apply for those extra hours because of my password and PIN number from like almost 8 or 9 years ago. So if you're having trouble with that, just keep calling. That's all I can say. But again, better pay, definitely. If you are good at your craft, meaning that you are good at being a pharmacy technician, you are professional, and you feel that you are a great pharmacy technician, just apply at different places just to see how much you're worth. And you may be happy at your job, but there's nothing wrong with seeing how much you're worth, okay? Please remember that. You don't have to be searching for another job. You don't have to be wanting to change your location, but always just put in an application somewhere just to see exactly how much you're worth. And you may be worth $2 or $3 more per hour. Okay, so number 1 was the work environment. Number 2 was better pay. Let's move on to number 3, okay? Number 3 is the workload. As you know, in retail, it is a very heavier workload, meaning it may be a higher script count depending on where you work. If you work at, as I've said in my previous video, if you work at Walgreens or CVS, they have a very high volume, meaning their script count, I think when I worked at Walgreens, the script count per day was almost 700 prescriptions per day. But when I went to a clinic, it was only maybe 300 prescriptions per day. So you also have to think about that too. And of course, you know, I mean, I don't know if it would be professional to go into a facility and say, hey, how, you know, what is your script count like? And I mean, and to me, that's a reasonable question to ask. You know, and if you're going to ask that question, say, hey, what does your script count look like these days? You know, I want to, you know, prepare myself mentally if this is a high volume store. You know, that's the way to do it. Don't just, you know, ask that question without giving a reason as to why you're asking that question. Okay. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like in my previous video, being a pharmacy technician is work. You are on your feet all day, every day. You will, if you are in a hospital setting, you will be walking maybe 5 to 6 hours per day. So get you some great shoes. If you're in retail pharmacy, you won't be walking as much in retail pharmacy because you'll be confined to a small area, okay? The furthest you're gonna walk in retail pharmacy, you know, if it's a small pharmacy, is maybe 10 to 12 steps, and then you're coming back to your position, whether it be the drop-off window, whether it be filling the prescriptions, or whether it be the pickup window, or whether it's going to be drive-through, okay? So you won't really be going that far of a distance in retail, but, you know, working the drive-through for me was just like when I worked at a fast food restaurant. I was a team leader at a fast food restaurant. It was the same concept. You are pretty much giving them they're paying you for your service, for your service, and you are giving them their goods. Same thing in fast food. They're paying you for their food and you are giving them their goods. Same exact concept. If you feel like you don't want to work in a drive-through, don't apply for a job that has a drive-through window. Don't do it to yourself, because 99% of the time you will be in the drive-through window, okay? All right, so that was the workload. In the hospital setting, I'm not going to say that hospital is easier than retail, but it's best to do retail first, okay? To me, it is. That's what I suggest to all of my students. Get your feet wet in retail. If you can do all this running, then you can handle the hospital setting. Now, trying to transition from the retail to the hospital setting was a little difficult for me, but I felt like it would have been a lot easier had I had the proper training, okay? Just gonna be honest with you, had I had the proper training, because it is different, because you're not taking prescriptions from a patient, okay? Everything that in the hospital setting is for those patients in the hospital, unless they are outpatient patients. And then, you know, you'll send prescriptions down for them. They'll get their medications then, and then they'll leave, okay? But hospital setting is not for the public to come inside and drop off a prescription, okay? All right, so if I were to say which one that I like the best, it would just all depend on where I worked. That's really what it would depend on, because I actually liked this company that I was working for, because, you know, the work was really easy there. It was really easy. But I can't say which one is better, but if I had to, or not better, but easier, if I had to, I would say the hospital setting. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, or either teaching the rest of my career. And teaching is what I really want to do, because I feel like if I'm not teaching, to be honest, I don't know if I would still want to continue to be a pharmacy technician, because it's my passion. Teaching is my passion, and I have been thinking about going to school for that. Moving on. So we're on number 4. Number 1, work environment. Number 2, better pay. Number 3, the workload. Now number 4. Afraid of working in the IV room. As I said in my last video, a lot of people are afraid to work in the IV room. I have been told that several times. You really have to train an individual to work in the IV room, because these are sterile preparation medications, okay? You cannot put your glove, your finger on the needle. You cannot put your glove or your finger at the tip of the syringe. Anytime that I do that, I start over. Because I know that the patients are already sick, so they're prone to infection and disease. So whatever is on the tip of my glove, I don't want to send that out to the patient. And that's just me. I'm very clean in the IV room. I don't even like trash. Whenever the trash gets halfway full, I'm like, hey, you know what? I start telling myself, okay, it's time to clean up. I make sure everything's wiped down. I make sure everything's organized. I just don't like it. I feel like clutter is stress for me. But that's me. And I feel that you need to be the same way. You know, cleanliness is next to godliness. Be very clean in the IV room. Constantly alcohol, wipe your hands down. There is something called desiccation. Desiccation is just the process of something drying. Make sure your hands are complete, your gloves are completely dry before you start manipulating IV medications. Now, I'm not saying to wait if you have someone that is dying. Get your butt in there and start working on that medication, whether that alcohol has dried or not. Get to work, okay? All right, so let's go to number 5. Let's go. I'm trying to go through these as fast as I can. So number 5 is no room for growth. And remember, you guys, I got these from 5 different technicians. Some of them are working as a pharmacy technician. Some are at home, you know, just relaxing or whatever. So I just made sure that they're all still certified. So no room for growth. As I said previously, in a retail pharmacy, you do have room for growth, okay? Because you can leave the pharmacy, still be a pharmacy technician, and become a team leader. Like we'll use Walgreens for example. Say for instance you wanted to become a team leader there. You just apply. You know, even though you're working in the pharmacy setting, you can still apply to be a team leader there. You can still apply to be assistant manager there. You can still apply to be a store manager there. And if you feel like, oh, I'm just so beat down with being a pharmacy technician, you can go to the photo department. You can go out front. And some may still have cosmetic departments. That's the best thing about working in retail, is that you have room to move about. In the hospital setting, there may be a team lead position. You have a buyer's position, and that's not even at most pharmacies. So you know, you're really going to have to try to get in where you fit in and apply for these jobs. That's what I do. I try to apply as soon as I can. Why would I not? Because I know that I have the knowledge, and I know that I have the educational background. So why would I not? Also, remember what I told you about traveling to Houston and getting your sterile IV, your compounding, and your chemo certification. Don't forget to do that as well. All right, let's continue on. Poor management. Poor management is basically your manager really doesn't know exactly what you guys are doing, and sometimes that's the case. And your manager has a lot going on. You know, not only are they trying to possibly in retail manage the store, but they have all out front. They have the photo department. They have the cashier up front. They have the cosmetics department, and then they also have their life, you know, and then they have their management duties to take care of. And then on top of that, they still have the pharmacy to oversee. So that's a lot on a manager, but hey, that's what they signed up for. So, you know, you actually decide to take on this workload. But sometimes that management can start slacking, and it's okay to go to your manager and say, hey, you know, I feel like there's you know, not maybe enough communication here, or maybe someone is slacking in certain areas. Me personally, I don't like a snitch. That's just me. I don't like a snitch. You know, most people were with siblings were brought up, you know, and their parents would say, get your butt in there and stop telling on your brother or sister, you know, and that has been put into our minds. But, you know, be professional about it if you are. Don't be the person, I'm telling on you. No, do it in a professional way, to where if you're going to criticize someone, make sure that it is definitely constructive criticism, because there is a big difference, a very big difference between constructive criticism and criticism, okay? All right? I've been on both ends of that spectrum, where someone thought they was constructively criticizing me, but they were not. It was just straight up criticism, and I thought that it was very rude, and they caught themselves and they apologized for it. Did I accept that apology? No, I'm sorry. No, you know, not all apologies have to be accepted. You know, you are an individual. You can do as you please. That's just like with other situations in your life, when someone's hurting you and hurting you and hurting you continuously over and over. You do not have to accept everyone's apology. You don't have to do that. You know, I know that's the godly thing to do, but you don't have to do that. You know, you're your own individual person, and I don't accept apologies from people that continuously hurt me over and over and over again. So be smart with that. Okay. Number 7. So let's go back through. Let's do a recap real quick. So number 1 is work environment. I have my list right here. That's why I'm looking down. I don't know if you can tell that I'm looking down or not. But number 1 is work environment. Number 2, better pay. Number 3 is your workload. Number 4 is afraid of working in the IV room. Number 5 is no room for growth. Number 6 is poor management. And let's talk about number 7, which is poor training. To me, this is the most important one for me. Everything else I feel like I can handle. But poor training, you know, that's just not gonna work for me, you know, because how can you excel at your job if you're not being taught how to do your job? You know, that's impossible. That's like us sending our kids out into the world and not giving them any type of knowledge of what the world is about. You know, you can't do that. It's like we're expecting for them to look both ways to cross the street, and we have not taught them to look both ways to cross the street. And I've had a friend to tell me, "Oh, you can't teach a person common sense." Oh yes. Oh yes, you can. Oh yes. Because, you know, as children, I know this is so off subject, but as children grow up, they need to be taught. That's why they have parents. And that's the main reason on the job we have to be taught. That's why we have a team leader, excuse me, or we have a boss, someone that is there that is training us and showing us the way that we need to go. Because you gotta realize there are some technicians that are coming directly out of school and haven't worked in the field. All they know is what was in those books, okay? And so they're coming into your pharmacy and not knowing anything. And I feel that the proper training is necessary to teach them exactly the steps that they need to go so they can continue their career wherever they're going to go. And that's truly and honestly how I feel, okay? And I did add an 8th one because in the last video there were only 7. So on this one, I added an 8th one, which is not working as a team. If you are not a team player, then why even be on the team? You understand what I'm saying? You know, be nice to your coworkers, work together, help each other, support each other, give each other high fives, discuss things with each other. I try to send emails. I've thrown a little get together for my coworkers before, because you know, at some point, at certain times, you know, in the pharmacy, you know, we can become so weighed down with the amount of work that we do, and your boss may not see that, okay? So it's all right, you know, if you have the extra funds to take it upon yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to show recognition to my coworkers, and that's what I did, and more than likely I'm going to do it again because I like to party. And more than likely I would do that again. But right now it's just not the time, especially with the coronavirus going on. You know, we're trying to, even though we're all in one place, we're still trying, you know, we don't hug which I accidentally hugged my coworker the other day because she bought me some noodles. I gave her a hug, but I was like, the coronavirus, Lord. But you know, keep your distance or whatever right now. So that's really all we can do. Social distancing, make sure you're doing that. But these were my 8 reasons why pharmacy technicians quit, and I will repeat those one last time before I go. The work environment, better pay, the workload, afraid of working in the IV room, no room for growth, poor management, poor training, and not working as a team. You guys have a great evening. I will try to someone asked me to do another video of the sick codes. So I may do that today since I don't have anything to do. I have 5 more days of vacation. Hopefully this video will be uploaded by today. The last video took forever to upload because of my Wi-Fi connection. So you guys have a good evening. Stay safe and stay blessed.